No, it don't! No, it don't!
So I'm going to teach you the next part of absolute value, and that's how to solve. If you don't know yesterday's stuff, you're going to be a bit in trouble, but you're going to follow along. Let's say I give you this. Absolute x minus 3 and absolute equals to 7. I want you to highlight a few things. Versus, what we did yesterday was simple as y equals to absolute x minus 3. See, yesterday, or the other day, we did something called creating a piecewise function. Today, notice what I have. There's no y. There's actually a number. This is actually solve for x. Look at the difference between two types of questions. In this question, it says create a piecewise function. See, there's a difference between the two. One is create a piecewise function. The other is solve for x. I'm going to show you how to solve for x involving absolute values. I'm going to write a few things down. To solve for x, you must create. Guess what you got to create? A piecewise function. You must create a piecewise function. Even though it equals to 7, we're going to imagine it doesn't equal to 7. So what I have is absolute value x minus 3 equals to 7. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to imagine, instead of writing 7, I'm going to have a y. So I want you guys, take a minute, work with the person beside you, and turn this into a piecewise function right now. I'm going to pause it. What you're going to do now, I'm going to create my piecewise function. So watch my piecewise function. You can do that table and all you would like, but I'm going to do the piecewise function because I'm going to jump a few steps. So my first one is simply x minus 3, comma, x. Ajula, what is that? X is what? Greater than, or we'll call it greater than equal to 3 because we're going to use positive. It has to have an equal to now. The other one will be negative x plus 3. X is less than 3. That's your first step.
Isn't it less than or equal?
Nope, it's just a less than. Because you only choose for the top when it's positive, it's equal to. When less than, there's no equal to. Okay? There's no closing bracket? Well, you could, but it makes no difference. Okay? So now what this says is this. Really, you have two equations. You have to solve the two equations separately. Let's do this now. Case 1. We're going to use the first case. See, notice I have two equations. Now I'm going to go x minus 3 equals to 7. I'm using this first right now. Because there I came up with two equations. What chart? This chart? I'm just showing you the difference between the two. So now I want you to solve for x right now. So x equals to, Achal, what does x equal to? Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you. 10. So x equals to 10. And I always write this down, comma, whatever I wrote here. X equals to 10 when x is greater than equal to 3. Okay. So look what I did. That's my first answer, x equals to 10. When x is greater than equal to. Case 2. In case 2, I do exactly the same thing. See? My second piecewise. I want you to solve for case 2 and write down the full solution for me. So case 2 is negative x plus 3. Now I set it equal to 7. I want you to solve for x. X equals to 4. Or negative 4? It is going to be negative 4. When x is less than 3. See, there's my two cases. In case 1, so I have two answers, 10 and negative 4. So to solve a piecewise function, I could do it 2 times. Try this question on your own without any help from me. Good luck. Okay. Now I want you to write down star. This is the crucial part. Always check your answer with your restriction. This is crucial right here. Okay. I'm going to show you what I mean by this. It says this. Notice my answer is 10. This is called your restriction right here. Restriction, which means whatever I have, it better be bigger than 3. And 10 is indeed bigger than 3. So this works. Look at your restriction for the second one. My restriction says my answer better be less than 3. Okay? So look at this. Hey, negative 4 is indeed less than, so therefore both of these work. That is how I check it. I compare this with this. Try this on your own without any help from me, and I'm going to walk around. Absolute 6 minus x and absolute equals to 2. I'm going to pause it. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to create a piecewise. I can't do this without a piecewise. To do my piecewise, I'm going to go y equals to, let's do the squiggly thing. I have a positive case, which is 6 minus x. I also have a negative case, which is negative 6 plus x. But the main thing is I need to know these restrictions. That's the main thing. Okay. Vicky, when is it 6 minus x? When x is greater than 6? Less than or equal to. Now the question is, why is it less than or equal to? Because when you divide by a negative number, that's the reason why. You got to be really careful about that. A lot of people will make mistakes over and over again because of it. Because when you're doing the positive case, right? When you're doing the positive case, it's always equal to. So you know how you have a table? So I'm going to do a table for you right now. Hi. Do you understand? Hi. Ooh, which dividing part? Oh, okay, so I'm going to do this right now. So let's say I'm going to go 6 minus x has to be greater than or equal to 0, right? So I'm going to bring this. Oh, you brought the x over. That's what you did. It's fine. Some people, they brought the 6 over, and that gives you negative 6 is greater. That's where it happens. Okay? So therefore, x is greater than 6. But we're not done yet, guys. That's what I did yesterday. Oh, Vicky, andale. I want you to do the second part now. I'm going to write down case 1. In case 1, I'm going to use the first line of my piecewise. Now I'm going to sub it in. So it'll be 6 minus x equals to 2. Agree? So x equals to 4. Very simple. But here's the catch. You have to write down that x, when x is less than 6. This is called my restriction right here. This says my answer has to be less than 6. So I look at this. Is this 4 less than 6? Well, the answer is yes. I brought the 6 over, and then I divide by negative 1. Okay. I do case 2, exact same setup. Negative x6 plus x equals to 2. X, you should have 8. And look at my restriction. It says x is greater than 6. Hey, look at that. 8 is indeed greater than 6. So these are my two answers, 8 and 4.
Wait, now how do you get the greater part?
This part right here, it comes from your piecewise. Your piecewise.
How'd you get that though?
X is greater than 6 because
The negative, the bottom of the negative is 8.
the bottom is the negative part. That's correct.
But like, don't you always start with like the less than sign?
Nope. It depends. See, this is a positive right here. This is a negative right here. I started with this positive. The restrictions, because this is less than 6, it doesn't mean it's negative. It just, that's something else. Okay? Should I give you a supernova question? Are you ready? Yeah. All right, let's do it. I think you're ready. Good luck. Here was your supernova question for today. Let the games begin. Absolute. 2x minus 5 n absolute equals to 5. Oh, no such thing, please. That's a joke. Minus 3x. I'm going to pause it. Let your rolls get the key. If I think about it, let's treat this as y right now. I'm going to treat this as y. So I'm going to create a piecewise function. Y. This is going to be 2x minus 5, comma, x is greater than or equal to 5 over 2. That's my first one. My second one is negative 2x plus 5. And this is x is less than or equal to, oops, sorry, that should be just less than 5 over 2. Once I created that, I'm going to create my two equations. So I'm going to go 2x minus 5 equals to 5 minus 3x. So here's case 1. I'm going to solve for case 1. And if I did this, I have x equals to 2. 5 over 2. If I did the second one, case 2, this is negative 2x plus 5 equals to 5 minus 3x. Guys, listen up. So now, I have x equals to 0. X is less than 5 over 2. Most of you, some of you got that, but you didn't get a card. Why is that? Stanley, why didn't they get a card? Because first one's a reject. Here's first one's a reject. It says, look, my answer has to be bigger than 2.5.
Shouldn't we get one card?
Whoa. But this problem is 2 is a reject because it's not bigger. So this is called an extraneous root.
That's funny.
That's a reject. But look at this. This works because it fits my criteria. So therefore, my only answer is 0. I'm going to give you one more question for you to try. Then after lunch, I'm going to give you some practice to practice on. And I haven't figured that out yet. Try this question, please. Exact same thing over and over. X squared minus 2x n absolute equals to 1. What about this? To do the piecewise, I'm going to do a table for this one because it's a bit trickier. And my table is going to be fairly large because it's going to be quadratic. Plus, minus. I go x squared minus 2x is greater than or equal to 0. I'm going to solve for x. And Puneet, I haven't asked you in ages. How do I solve for x, Puneet? What do you do first? Nope, you don't bring over the 2x. Gagan, what do you do to solve it? Well. Factor out the 2. Who told you such?
You do something, but it's hard to explain.
Factor out the x. Hooner, might as well tell her to go off the bridge. You factor out the x. So that's x minus 2. So then, Achal, what does x equal to? What does x equal to, Achal? Sorry? 2 and you got 0. Now, do your number line. You have to know how to do this really well because I have a worksheet for you that's due at the end up here too later. And it's all about creating a piecewise function. So this now becomes 0. This becomes 2. Because I set each bracket to 0. Here's 1. And that's where 0 came from. I'm going to pause it. If I test my regions, if I sub in a negative number, this will be positive. This will be negative. This will be positive. Okay. Once I have all that down, I can write down my piecewise function because I know what it looks like. Y, there's that fancy bracket. So I'm going to do the positive form. X squared minus 2x. It occurs when x is less than or equal to 0 and x is greater than or equal to 2. I want you to fill in the last form for me. Manjo, what goes in the last piece?
X is greater than 0 and less than 2.
Okay, greater, I know what you're talking about. X greater than 0. But Emily, I'm missing something here. What equation goes here, Emily? Negative x squared plus 2x. That's only halfway. You only now, but the question says solve. So now I want you to take over, work with case 1. Case 1 is going to be this. X squared minus 2x equals to 1. Okay? I use a positive form of it. The issue lies in how do we solve this? You have to use, I'm going to bring everything to one side. You always want it equal to 0. Who haven't I picked on? Suleiman, can you factor this? Is it possible to factor this? Yes or no?
Yes.
Nope. You can't factor it. If you can't factor it, quad formula. You have to use a quad formula. Take a minute, use a quad formula. So, if I use a quadratic formula, remember 2 plus minus square root. Kim, I haven't asked you in ages. What's the quadratic formula? What goes in here? B squared is 4. Yep. Minus 2AC. 4. Well, what is it? Negative B plus minus square root of B squared minus 4AC all over 2A. So I hear 4. A is 1. C is negative 1. All over 2. So what I have really is 2 plus minus root 8 over 2. But I want my answer in decimal because it's easier to work in decimal. Take a minute. Okay. 2.4? What if I give you, what's the other one? 2 minus root 8 divided by 2. Negative 0.4. So if I look at this and look at my restriction. The restriction is a bit tricky for this one. My restriction says one of them has to be less than 0. The other one has to be greater than equal to 2. So do these two work? Yes, because this number is indeed less than 0. This number is indeed greater than equal to 2. That's case 1, guys. But I have case 2 for you to work on. Take a minute and you can factor it. In case 2, I'm going to write down case 2. In case 2, I have negative x squared plus 2x equals to 1. I always try to have a positive x squared. That's what I want to do. So why don't I move everything to the right hand side? Because the reason is I want a positive x squared. Because negative x squared is really hard to work with. So it'll be x squared minus 2x plus 1 equals to 0. Hi.
Can you just bring like the 1 over?
Yeah, then you factor a negative. It works. Potato. You did Alu. Okay. Go ahead. And if I have this right here, Zaiba, can you factor this? Close. No. Not x plus 1. X plus 1. X minus 1. X minus 1. So, Pawin, what does x equal to? X equals 1. And again, I always write the restriction right beside it because I want to compare. In this restriction, it says x is between 0 and 2. Hey, look at this. X is indeed between 0 and 2. Because 1 is between. So I have 3 answers for this one. I'm going to highlight my 3 answers for you. One of them is 2.4. One of them is negative 0.4. And finally, the last one is 1. That is how you work with solving absolute. And that's probably as hard as it gets for now. I'm going to pause. Here's going to be my last question. I want you to try it. We're going to work together as a class to make sure everyone can do this stuff before I let you go. X minus 10 n absolute equals to x squared minus 10x. I'm going to pause it. If I look at this, really, there's only one absolute value, and this is it. I can create my absolute equation just by looking at it. Some of you don't need a chart anymore because for a line it's simple. I'm going to have x minus 10, comma, x is greater than or equal to 10. X, negative x, plus 10, x is less than 10. That's my first piecewise. Check your work with my work. See if you agree, see if you disagree. Okay? Now, I have to case this. Case 1. The positive case, which is x minus 10 equals to x squared minus 10x. I'm going to pause it again and just let you finish this. Go. I always like to have x squared by itself, and the key is positive x squared minus 10x minus x plus 10. X squared minus 11x plus 10. This is equal to 0. And who haven't I picked on? Jasmine. I don't think. How would you factor this, Jasmine? Negative 10n? Not 1. Negative 1. So, I gotta solve. Come on, what's my answer then? X equals to? 10 and 1 is correct. But I always double check. See, my restriction says x has to be greater than or equal to 10. So right off the bat, I see something happens. One of them doesn't work. Reject one of them right now. Okay. This says x has to equal to or be greater than 10. Look at this number. This number 1 is a reject. Because my restriction says x must be greater than or equal to 10. I want you to do case 2. I'm going to pause it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to work with case 2. Negative x plus 10 equals to x squared minus 10x. That gives you x squared minus 9x minus 10. X minus 10, x plus 1. Okay. So I did it just to simplify a factor. And Devanshi, what are your two x values? X equals to 10 and negative 1. Now before I high five my neighbor, I always have to double check with my restriction. This restriction says x is less than 10. Notice there's no equal sign. So it means less than 10, which means this is now, I don't look at that. Well, 10 is included already, so this one now works. Negative 1 works. So here are my three values. X equals to 10, 1, and negative 1. Those are my three answers. And that is the answer solution to... Wait. Oh, sorry. Oh, where did one come from? I'm testing you guys. Good job. You passed my test. Okay, that one was a reject. That is how you solve for absolute values. Now that basically covers 95% of absolute values. Tomorrow I'm going to show you how to do reciprocal graphs. But that is it. After reciprocal graphs, we are done the chapter. Your work. And this I will repeat. I will be collecting this and I'll be giving you a score out of 15. Very simple 15 marks. Answers I will give to you. Only thing that's missing is work. You show me the work. Page. 3, 8, 9. Numero. We'll keep it simple. I don't want to push you too hard. 4 to 6. That's it. Just 4, 5, 6. Very nice, very nice. Okay. You have all of this class, plus I may give you a bit of next class, depending on how much work you've done. And near the end, I'm going to wrap up everything and just go over, wrap things up very nicely for you guys. But that is it.